Yo, what is up? Today we're back in Car Mechanic Simulator 2021, and as you may have seen from the previous video, if you've watched it, we fixed this McLaren F1 for some crazy profit. As you can see, we can sell this thing for $15 million. I think we bought it for about 700K. Like, we did spend a bit on it, but it is an insane amount of profit. But today we are going to be doing something a little bit different from the usual. Usually we go to the junkyard, but today we are going to the car salvage auctions. So we are going to go to the salvage auctions and we are going to scroll through and hopefully find something worthwhile our time. We could do this little C8. It's a base game car, but it's meant to be a C8. Or we could do a Carrera. We have a Huayra. We did that before, so we're going to ignore that. We have a base game. I believe this is meant to be a Koenigsegg of some sort. I'm tempted to do this just because, oh my God. All right, let's start the auction and see how much this goes for. 87K. And that's it. We have won the car from auction. Let's go back to our garage. All right, we spent a little bit on this car. It's in a little bit better condition than junkyard cars are. 910 horsepower stock, but obviously we're still going to 100% restore it. So let's take it straight to the car wash. I can see it's green. I'm not 100% keen on that color. Ooh, it's got the carbon stripe down the middle. That's sick. All right, let's do the interior detail and the carbon roof. All right, let's take this straight to our car lift, and as with anything, we are going to lift it up and we're going to strip apart everything on this car because we are going to replace it with brand spanking new equipment. This is a DLC car, so it is sort of more put together than the recent cars that we've been doing, which have been like community series cars. But with that, we have ripped that off. All right, let's get the starter out of here and let's move on to this side of the suspension, which has actually surprisingly more stuff to it. Strip that apart, take the wheel hub off. All right, we're missing a bottom arm. We've got the top arm at least. All right, we can take that off. That's the rear suspension completely deleted and out of here. Let's take the gearbox off. This is a V8 turbo, but I think it's a V8 twin turbo actually. That's kind of sick. The engine can be ripped out now. Let's move to the front and rip apart everything on the front. We are obviously going to be opting for all of the performance parts we possibly can because it makes 900 horsepower stock. So I wonder how much we can actually push out of it. Let's move on to this side. All right, let's take all of this out. All right, and that is everything out of here. Let's lower the car down and take the rest out. So we'll run over to the corner here, grab our trusty engine crane and remove the... We have to drain the oil first. That probably makes sense. We haven't had a car that actually has an oil pan on it, so I guess this is a first. Use equipment. Draining the oil. Now you can go back to where you belong and the car can come down. All right, and we can take out the engine now. Cool. Engine crane can stay there for now. Let's take out the air filter box. I guess that's the pain about the car auctions. Like they're better condition than the junkyard, but you gotta remove more, especially if you're doing what I'm doing. All right, take that out, take the brake fluid out. We're gonna have to clean that up. Yep, don't really care. Take our ABS module off. And our ABS pump. Take our windshield washer out. Yep, we've made a mess everywhere. And we are left... Oh, it has 2 fuse boxes. We should be left with a completely stripped car now. Let's take off all the panels while we're here. I believe that is everything. Let's move our welder over and fix up our car. Yes, welding carbon fiber. That definitely worked. All right, let's move this back and what kind of engine do we need? Let's do the engine rebuild. Oh no, we've lost 71K. All right, so we need a V8 AKX TRS. Let's create a new engine and find this one that we need, which is a V8, this one. Cool. All right, let's get to engine building. We need a block first off. So let's buy our block and chuck it straight on. All right, power steering pump goes on, followed by our crankshaft and our alternator and our oil filter. Now we need some pistons and some conrods. Let's put our fuel filter on and our flywheel on. Now our pistons in. The smaller engine than we're used to recently. We've been doing a lot of V12s. All right, let's flip this over and do the boring part, which is the rod caps and crankshaft bearing caps. All right, now we can flip this back around, put our clutch plate on, put our oil pan on. That's the bottom end of our engine done. Let's put this clutch plate on. And now we can put our engine heads on, and that's the other head on. All right, let's put our clutch release bearing on, and we'll put our camshafts in. Hold on. Is this... Do I not need to put camshaft caps on? That could actually be elite if I don't have to do that. Let's put this exhaust manifold on and the other side. Put our intake manifold on while we're here. All right, let's put these cam gears on. And now our fuel rails, timing belt, and another timing belt. All right, let's do the front of the engine with all this timing mess. Put our water pump in, put this serpentine belt on, followed by our water pump pulley. All right, let's put this other serpentine belt on. There we go. That looks like the timing is all done. Let's put our engine head covers on. Let's put our ignition coils in. Put these coil covers on, and we'll put our turbos on, 2 of them. And now we just need our throttle, and that should be the engine completely buttoned up and done, I believe. So let's take it off the engine stand and put it in our backpack. Run it over here to the engine crane and install our brand new 100% V8 twin turbo engine, and we'll move this back to the corner where it belongs. And then we just have a lot of parts to mop up and grab. I have all the parts that we stripped from this car, so let's get working on the suspension from the front. We will start with all of this mess that we got to get through. I might have some missing parts that just weren't on the car when we got it, so we might have to deal with that as it comes. We got some carbon ceramics now, so we've done a brake upgrade, which is good. And that should be the front right complete. Go around on our cross member and put some rubber bushings in. All right, and that is that side complete. I believe the front is complete besides the stuff that we need for the engine bay. I completely forgot to do the fuel tanks here, actually. Brand new fuel tank and fuel pump setup. Let's move to the back car suspension. Let's quickly chuck a gearbox on though. All right, let's put our suspension together. All right, so that should be this side complete here. Let's move to the other side. This should be the last corner of the suspension that we need to build up. All right, and that is the last corner built up. Let's do the exhaust while we're here. Kind of funky exhaust though. That should be the exhaust done. While we're down here, let's put the starter on before we forget. And that should be everything we can do underneath the car. So let's drop her down and come back to the front and build up our radiators. Chuck our windshield washer reservoir in, ABS pump in, brake servo in, chuck our ABS module on here. Let's do this cheeky little fuse box over here. All right, that should be everything at the front. Let's move to the back. Chuck our fuse box base on, our ECU in, coolant reservoir, air filter base. Let's build up this fuse box. That's our fuse box done. Let's do our air filter and the cover and then the little clips. I believe that is everything. Let's do the liquid fill up first. So we'll start with the coolant. That's the coolant done. We'll go to the engine oil next. That's the engine oil done. Power steering. It's the power steering done. Let's move to the front and fill up the brake servo. That's the brakes done. And last but not least, the windshield washer fluid, which is the most important liquid for your car. And that's the windshield washer done. All right, what do we have left? We just have the wheels and tires to do. Let's quickly disassemble the interior. Interior parts, add that in, and the wheel. Let's fit our wheels and tires together. All right, let's put our wheels and tires on. So we need the massive ones in the rear. And now we can do the fronts. And the final one on the front here. Cool. That is pretty much all of the parts done on this car, I believe. All right, I believe we have all of the parts for this car, so let's put it back together. Windshield, door, window, mirror, front fender, hood, bumper, headlight, door, fender, mirror, window, rear clamshell, rear bumper, tail light, trunk window, rear window. I believe that this car is now 100% done and dusted. We're going to quickly do some window tint to it. We'll go pretty dark. There we go. Tint. And then this can be moved back to where it belongs. And we can move the car to our paint booth where we will paint the car. I'm not sure on the green. I'm not sure if I like it. We've lost the carbon though. That's the only issue. What happened to our carbon roof? And these are some crazy factory colors. Ooh, I like the purple. We're gonna go purple. Yeah, that purple is tough. Ah, you can do liveries as well. Here we go. This is it. All right, let's go. I like the yellow. The yellow, purple and yellow works well. Yeah, let's go purple and yellow. There we have it. Let's move this straight to the dyno. Yeah, we had 910 horsepower stock. Let's quickly do some tuning. I've been getting this spot on recently, so we're going to keep it at that. I don't really care that much, so 910 horsepower stock. Let's run the test. This is our most powerful car so far. It's 1,951 horsepower. That's almost 2,000 horsepower. We gained a total of 1,041 horsepower just from our modifications. This car is insane. Almost 2,000 horsepower. How much does that McLaren F1 have? Just for like comparison. 1,300. How much is this worth? 434,000. Okay, it's not the greatest, but we did profit. I'll have the profit on the screen now, but we also have the most powerful car we've ever built. So why not go to the drag strip? All right, we are at the drag strip. Let's do the half mile. No opponent. We don't need an opponent. Oh my God, this car looks insane. All right, let's see how we go on the drag strip. We have tinted the windows, so it's kind of hard to see, but hopefully the slicks give us grip. That is my main concern. Oh, we've already spun. There we go. We just had to hang out first a little bit. Oh, I crossed over the line. We need to hang out first a little bit. Oh my God. That was quick. That was so quick. How fast did we do 0 to 100? 0 to 100 in 2.4 seconds. That is insane. We did have to like red line first a little bit just so we didn't spin out. Obviously, I'm not the best drag driver, but honestly, this car did very well. So this was not the most profitable car that we have built, but honestly, the best looking car that we've built so far, in my opinion. It almost has 2,000 horsepower. It is crazy quick as well. And yeah, we did profit a little bit off of it. I don't know if I can bring myself to selling this. We are starting our little car collection here, as you can see. So if you did make it all the way to the end of the video, any support is appreciated. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below. Any support is appreciated. I'm a very small creator, and yeah, I just appreciate all the support that you guys show. If you're new to the channel, definitely hit subscribe. We do a whole bunch of car related gaming content. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.